Hey, what's going on, guys? Ace Trainer John here. Today we're going to be going over the This Week at Bungie for November 19th, 2020. But before we jump into things, I ask that if you end up finding this video useful and you want to keep up to date on all Destiny 2 news, information, leaks, and tutorials, that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. But anyways, let's jump into it. This week at Bungie, the Crow has found a new rest. Hello and welcome to the second TWAB of Beyond Light. We've got a bit to cover today, so we won't spend too much time on introductions. Season of the Hunt kicked off proper on Tuesday. If you haven't jumped in just yet, we have some wonderful web lore to get you prepared, and right here they will end up linking the 3 pieces of web lore on their website. Highly recommend reading them. They're pretty interesting and important and give you an insight of what's going on right before Season of the Hunt. And another thing to add on to that, if you actually ended up going to Zavala's office and any of the days before Tuesday, you were actually able to hear special dialogue transmissions that were mostly from Osiris covering this lore. So if you're not really into reading that word diarrhea, you can go in-game to Zavala's office and go up to the little terminal thing and listen to Osiris talk. There also is a special piece of Mara Sov, aka the Queen dialogue, so I highly recommend going to Zavala's office in the tower and listening to that. Anyways, moving on, now we're going to be talking about the raid, which is launching this Saturday, November 21st at 10 AM PST. So, in regards to World's First Verification, Bungie has gone on to state that they're not going to do it right away like they've done in the past, and obviously just because there's a cheater problem, there's glitches, etc. They want to make sure to get the right person, and so because of that, the post congratulating the winning team will end up on Monday, November 23rd, as opposed to the usual same day like they used to do. Then moving on, they go on to talk about how contest mode will work, and I'm just going to go over the little bullet points here, but contest mode will cap all players at 20 power below each encounter for 24 hours. Artifact power will be disabled during contest mode. Your team's power cap goal is to be 1230 for all encounters, and being above 1230 light will not provide any additional advantage in the final fight. So for all of you that are doing the day 1 raid, make sure you keep that in mind. You want to aim for 1230 light if you haven't hit that already. And also, I will be streaming my day 1 raid experience over at twitch.tv/AceTrainerJohn. I'll have a link in the description down below and in the pinned comment. Anyways, moving on, in regards to a couple of fixes that were desperately needed before the raid race happened, they did end up pushing out a update today, which we'll go over a bit later in this TWAB. But this update did include some balance changes for stasis and some major fixes. But anyways, continuing the raid race talk, here are some special loot associated with the day 1 race. Obviously, whoever acquires World's First will be acquiring the World's First raid belt and will have verification via Twitter. And like I said, this will happen on Monday, November 23rd as well. Also, if you end up completing the raid within day 1, aka that first 24 hours with contest mode active, you will earn this special emblem. And if you end up completing the raid before December 1st, you will have access to this very unique raid jacket that you'll be able to buy. Personally, I'm not really a fan of it, but nonetheless, it's still quite the hefty achievement and flex to be walking around with. And they are a little bit spendy, but I will say, as someone who has the Crown of Sorrow one, man, it's definitely worth the price. With that being said, you do have till December 31st to both claim your reward code and to purchase your raid jacket. And so with that out of the way, that does lead the remaining questions. Have you gotten high enough power? Do you have a raid team assembled? Are you prepared for battle? And for those of you who are not racing, who will you be watching? That's a trick question on the last one there, because obviously you guys will be watching me, right? Anyways, moving on, securing the entrance. Our security team has been working on a variety of projects to sharpen our tools for cheat detection. In the coming weeks, we'll be rolling out a new security measure for newly created accounts on PC. Our hope is that this deletes some players from breaking the code of conduct. And what will they be bringing? Well, they'll be bringing SMS Verification. Basically, what they're doing is they're implementing a quick account validation step for free-to-play players, and obviously this is a big way to combat cheaters. And in the way they're doing this is you need to verify a cell phone number in order to access certain activities. And said activities that will be affected by this will be Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and competitive PvP. Although apparently there will be more that will be affected. Why are they doing this? Well, it's obviously to combat cheaters. Obviously it's not the best and strongest way, and obviously it's not my preferred way of them investing into a hefty anti-cheat, but this is definitely something to put a band-aid over on, at least for now. But yeah, basically what this means is if you're a free-to-play player on Destiny 2 PC, you will receive a in-game notice when the first time you try to access a protected activity, and in order to access it, you will have to give Bungie your phone number, in which they will quickly text you a code, and once you enter that code on Bungie.net, you will complete your verification process and will be able to get immediate access to the activity you desire to play. Moving on into TWAB, next up we have some updates with the Bungie Foundation, and here they go on to state that they're announcing their next initiative, which is partnering with Game to Give, and this will be starting on December 1st. They also go on to state that they will be partnering up with a bunch of community members through live streams that they'll be doing through December 1st to December 13th. And to get people donating, they do have a couple of incentives here. First up, at $25, you will earn the 2019 Miss Blossoms emblem and the Gilded Shell Exotic Ghost. And for reference, that is the bottom emblem and ghost there in the picture I'm displaying on screen right now. And with a $50 donation, you'll earn those items, as well as a new Light Keeper's emblem, which actually looks pretty fire. And again, for reference, that is the emblem on the top. And lastly, for a $100 donation, you will earn all three of those items above, and you will enter to win an item from Bungie prize pool. These prizes include GameStop/EB Games gift cards for US and Canada only, Destiny 2 Beyond Light Digital Deluxe Edition, and as well as a Destiny 2 Beyond Light Physical Deluxe Edition. And again, 100% all of the donations go directly to charities. So if you want to support that and get some cool loot in the process, again, this will be starting on December 1st and will run till December 13th. Next up, we're going to be going over the patch notes for the hotfix that went up today, which was hotfix 3.0.0.3. And this was a fairly small update, but they did do a lot in this update. Main things to take away is that they fixed the issue with Liver Horde, so now Liver Horde has been re-enabled. In regards to Stasis, they ended up fixing the exploits and glitches with the Warlock Shadebinder super. In regard to the Stasis breakout damage, they reduced that from 110 damage to 90 damage. They also increased the damage reduction effect Resilience has, so that higher tiers of Resilience are more valuable, and they state that this caps out at 90 Resilience. They then go on to state that the Penumbral Blast Stasis Warlock melee projectile speed has been reduced by 20%. Also, with the Warlock Stasis melee, they reduced the range. It was originally 28 meters, it's now 16. And with the Winter's Wrath Stasis Warlock super duration, they reduced it. It was 30 seconds, it's now 24 seconds. And with the Winter's Wrath light attack, the again Stasis Warlock super, they reduced the cost. It was 5% per burst, but now it's only 4.5. And in regards to the Cold Snap Seeker speed, they reduced it by 23%. Then in regards to stasis affecting Guardians, they did the following. Cold Snap freeze duration was lowered. It was 4.75 seconds, now 1.35. The Ice Flare Bolt freeze duration was also lowered. It was again 4.75 and was reduced to 1.35. The Penumbral Blast Stasis Warlock melee freeze duration was lowered. Again, it was 4.75 and now it's 1.35. And the Winter's Wrath heavy attack, the Stasis Warlock super, no longer affects players who are not encased in stasis. And moving on to some gameplay and investment changes. In regards to rewards, they fixed the issue with the pinnacle rewards where they were not dropping at the correct power. They also fixed an issue where several repeatable bounties were providing too much XP. And with activities, they fixed the issue with Exodus Crash Strike, so they ended up re-enabling Exodus Crash. And there are some other minor changes I didn't go over. If you want to see the full thing, it'll be linked in the description down below. But overall, I'm pretty proud of Bungie on this one. Usually they wait months to make these types of changes, and they made these in just a couple of short days, and that's very, very good and promising for the future. But anyways, moving on, we do have a couple more things in this TWAB. Now, with the launch of Beyond Light, it's been a big talk about how much loot there's been in the game, and I do have to agree, the loot pool feels fairly stale at the moment. So in order to mitigate this, in a update on November 24th, they're going to be doing the following. They're going to remove all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of this season. They're also going to add all 7 Seraph weapons from Season 10, and they're going to add all Season 11 seasonal and planetary reprisal weapons, and also they're going to weight drop chances so that newer an item is, it's more likely to drop. And while that's going to be their band-aid fix for the moment, they state that they do have plans for a long-term strategy, but they're not ready to dive into it yet, and they will be discussing it in a future update. Anyways, moving on, there is a report from the player support team. And if you don't know what this is, it basically covers every known bug in the game, and there's an ungodly long list of issues. And so if you want to read that, TWAB will be in the link in the description down below. I'm not going to read this because it will take forever and it will push out an already long video, but yeah, in the description down below if you want to read it yourself. Anyways, with that being said, that brings us to the movie of the week as well as the artist of the week. If you want to see that, again, TWAB is linked in the description down below. But that pretty much wraps it up for the TWAB. Last thing before we close out here, I will say, since the raid race is coming up this Saturday, I will not have a video out tomorrow, and there's possibility that I'll end up having a barrage of videos coming out within either Monday and Tuesday, and that will all be covering the raid in terms of how to do each encounter, my general thoughts on the raid, and just a general gameplay rip from my first completion. So if you're at all interested in that, make sure you go ahead and subscribe for that. But anyways, this was John, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.